Hey folks, Chuck here. It's a video response to a guy named Kurt. And Kurt, this is my first video response to you. Actually, today was the first time I've ever seen any of your videos. And you asked the question in your video, you effing Americans, why the rest of the world hates America. I'm not the rest of the world, certainly, but I have a unique perspective in that I've lived in the Netherlands for 13 years. I'm a stay-home father, so that with a 7-year-old girl and an 11-year-old boy, so that I have close contact with the neighborhood and with other parents at school. And in my 13 years, I have a nice circle of friends here now. And I also, because of the work I do out of my house, I travel back and forth to the U.S. anywhere from 3 to 6 times a year for a week or 2 weeks, sometimes 3 weeks. Bring my family in the summer, and we summer vacation in New England, where I came from. So I'm not saying I have the perspective, but I have a unique perspective as to why there is even a perception in the United States that the rest of the world hates them, at least in my own little corner of Europe. I can't speak for the Middle East, which I think we all realize why they hate us, or anywhere else, but I'll speak for what I've learned here in my 13 years in the Netherlands. First off, I think the whole question or answers is an over-generalization. Anyways, I think people here clearly separate American people from the American government, even though the government is elected by the people. I've never seen or heard any anti-American people rhetoric, except for maybe a few that I'm going to mention, but it's mostly anti-American government. People here, or at least my friends that I've talked to about this, they view America as being purely capitalism, that there is absolutely no social catch net for people, and that when we as Americans tout that we're the greatest country on earth and how free we are, I've had a couple of friends point out to me, well, how can you be free with the amount of homeless that you have, with the amount of people that fall through the cracks, if there's absolutely no catch for them, no help for them? And, you know, granted, that's a misperception. There is some help, but, you know, when I travel back to Boston, back to Cambridge, and I go through Harvard Square, for instance, I have to walk over, you know, homeless people. And every time I go back, it gets stranger and stranger that that's allowed to happen. They view, and I don't mean to speak for people, but we're generalizing here. They view Americans as gluttonous, as incredibly wasteful, as the bullies on earth. And we are gluttonous and wasteful, and we are bullies around the world, because we don't have a good understanding of how the rest of the world actually operates. They view us as loud, that we don't listen, and that we're sometimes overly patriotic. You know, I know I might get some bad comments on that, but I'm not the one saying it. I'm just saying how I have viewed people here talking to me about the United States, because I'm in my small little neighborhood here. I'm the, you know, the American guy. However, I've always been treated well, and have always been, in fact, now, you know, my neighbors come up to me, and I'm one of the neighbors. And that would happen in the United States, too. Certainly, one thing that is misunderstood, or maybe not misunderstood, is also how America jams down the world's throat that they're the greatest country on earth, and they have the crime rate that they do, and the gun laws that they do. Now, before I get anti-gun, before I get comments about what a jerk I am because I'm anti-guns, I'm the messenger, okay? Don't kill the messenger. Now, in the Netherlands, there are no guns. There are no weapons allowed. And our crime rate, granted, small country, about 15 million people, you know, we might have 3 murders a year in the whole country. And, you know, when I travel back to Boston, there are like, it seems like there are 3 murders a day. And it seems like it's really smacking me in the face each and every time I've gone back. Or I go back. I just got back from Boston, actually, like 2 weeks ago. They don't understand that that there's not more money spent on education. That, again, it's rammed down everyone's throat in the world how great our educational system is in the United States. However, it isn't. And one of the reasons I moved here was to have my 2 children educated here in the Netherlands. My wife is Dutch, so we could move here. And that's something I looked at personally very closely. One of the biggest things that I think people here, why they don't like America, is that America, you know, in the news here, and they complain continually about how much gas costs them, how much their taxes are, on and on and on. And yet they don't seem to do anything about it. You know, it's perceived that the United States is full of SUVs, full of larger than they need automobiles, and so why should they complain about paying, I think right now, $4 a gallon, when here in the Netherlands they're paying $9 to $10 a gallon, and they do something about it. It's much smaller cars. There's a much better transportation system, much better infrastructure, but it's what Americans think in the news. What, you know, how much I'm paying for gas. And as far as taxes go, you know, they also perceive that Americans are paying 25 to 30% taxes, when here in the Netherlands we're paying up to 55% taxes, so that there are no homeless, and that there is better education, which leads to less crime. The rest of the world, I don't think, hates America. There's a lot of people here that think America is the land of opportunity, and they want to go there. So hate may be a strong word. Critical? Sure. You guys are the big boys on the block. You know, America's the bullies. Well, you always, you know, as underdogs, it's easy to criticize the bullies. So, just a couple of thoughts. I'm out.